Welcome to another edition of Traveling Cheaply here on Back to the Peaceful Sea. Today we're talking about a 2-week trip to Sweden, the most lovely of Nordic countries. It's a beautiful country, beautiful people, delicious food, and you can travel there by flying for as little as $349, and on the upside, it's still a pretty reasonable range, maybe around $550 out of LAX to Stockholm. So reasonable, and from Stockholm you can get anywhere in the country via cheap bus or train. So $349 to $550 is completely reasonable when it comes to flying to Stockholm.
Now, as with most of the Scandinavian countries, accommodation is pretty expensive. You're looking at minimum for a hostel is going to be about $18 a night, on up to about $25 to $30. So we would definitely recommend couch surfing in this country. We couch surfed and it was wonderful.
Wonderful people.
We also camped and it was about half the price of a hostel, and we camped right next to this huge lake, right next to the bus stop to get into town. It was perfect. So,
yeah, that was in Gothenburg. And then, we stayed couch surfing with our friend Antonia, who was terrific. You may have seen her video on our channel before we interviewed her. So yeah, camping, couch surfing, and hostels are, probably don't want to do that. Except, there was this one hostel in Stockholm that I stayed at. The name is escaping me. However, it was formerly a prison. And so the whole thing is prison themed, and you get a room and it's a former cell, like even the bunk beds like come out from the wall like they would in a prison. It was just funny and fun and good for a couple nights.
As far as transportation, we took the bus when we were there. We also took a train at some point. You took a train.
I took a train into Stockholm and then out of Stockholm back to Copenhagen.
Okay, how was the price on that?
Decently priced train, no issues from me, and quick and easy, and the prices were very reasonable for transportation.
On the low end, you're going to spend about $60 on transportation in Sweden, depending on how far you want to go from where you landed. On the high end, $150 if you want to go a little farther and maybe take the train the entire way, because the buses obviously are a little cheaper.
The buses aren't bad. They showed movies.
As far as food, like we always say, cook a good part of your meals.
I gotta talk about Swedish meatballs real fast, because I had some in Stockholm. I don't want to say life-changing, that's a little much, but absolutely outstanding. So yes, eat cheaply, make pasta, do all that, but you must go at least once and get a meal of traditional Swedish meatballs, because it's well worth it, and they really were the best meatballs I've ever had, and that includes the meatballs I had in Italy and from Kroger. So activities in Sweden, there were a couple. When we were in Gothenburg, they did, I don't know if you know about the Flugtag that they do with the Red Bull thing, but they were doing that while we were there.
Yeah.
And I saw a bit of it walking by. You had to get a good view, you had to, kind of pay and be in front. But also in Stockholm, I went to a carnival, and I did that one with the swings where it like sends you all the way out.
It's the worst.
And I got back down, and I actually thought about committing suicide.
That's the all-time worst ride.
Yeah.
I did that at Six Flags.
For sure.
I'll never do it again.
It's so bad.
There are also beautiful sights in Gothenburg, because I spent most of my time in Gothenburg. He ended up going to Stockholm. So there are beautiful cathedrals. It sits right on the ocean. River runs right through it. There's a good soccer team there. Matthew went to one of the games.
Yeah. There's a couple good ones in Stockholm and in Gothenburg. So soccer games, and also in Stockholm I went to the photography museum right down on the water. And I'm not one for museums or photography, but it was adequate.
Well, that about does it for our 2-week trip to Sweden.
Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. If not, tell us why. Tell us what we missed in Sweden, maybe in the northern part that we didn't get to, or other things that you've done that we missed and we'd love to do in the future.
Make sure you subscribe to us, follow us on all our social media, and make sure you come back next week for some more travel inspiration and wallet preservation.